Improve your economy picking, phrasing, and minor pentatonic powers by learning this sick lick. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. Oh, the good old minor Panasonic scale. It's everybody's first scale that they learn on the guitar. We use it in all different styles of music, and it sure does get boring as hell if all you know is the good old standard first position pattern and a couple of cheap licks your stepdad showed you. Did you hear how my hand squeaked down the neck right there? It's like a stripper pole, but sexier. So in order to help you guys keep from getting stuck in a minor pentatonic rut, I came up with this lick to show you all how I like to incorporate some economy picking, some different phrasing ideas, and expand that scale pattern out across the neck of the guitar. Bust this one out at the next blues jam and you're gonna get some leg, for sure. As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Even for just $1 a month, you get access to all kinds of goodies like downloadable tabs, backing tracks, bonus lessons, and so much more. This week, everybody who supports my channel, even at just a $1 a month level, is going to get access to downloadable tabs as well as some practice tracks to go along with this lick. I'm going to put those up at a bunch of different tempos to help you get this lick up to speed, and I'm also going to be putting up the MIDI tracks, that way you can build your own perfect practice session. So don't delay, sign up today by clicking the Patreon link down there in the video description below. Thanks. You can also help support my channel and solve your upper nudity problem by buying yourself some Shred Till You're Undead merchandise by clicking the threadless link down there in the video description below. Makes a great gift for the holidays. Gear-wise for today's video, I'm playing my lovely Suhr Modern Satin, the finest guitar in all the land, into the Fractal Audio Axe FX 3. I'm actually using the stock John Petrucci Learning to Lead setting. But as always, before we get into the lick, let's hear it again at stepdad speed. Okay, so this lick moves around the neck a lot. It also has a lot of strategically placed double downstrokes as well as some pull-offs. So be sure to follow along with the notation on the tab really closely. Okay, so to start with here, we're going to play G to A on the B string and then play this phrase on the high E string. C, E, D, pulling back off to C. I like to do this in the pentatonic scale rather than playing all three notes up and down like a lot of players do. I'd rather jump around and play the lowest note, the highest note, the middle note, the lowest note. There's a lot of cool things that happen there. It mixes up the phrasing. I think it also just is easier to play stuff like that if you're alternate picking it because it makes it a 1, 2, 3, 4 even number of notes on that string. I use that kind of stuff probably a little too much, honestly. So we're gonna have down, up, down, pull, and then we're gonna play a downstroke here on the A note where we started off. Now that downstroke is going to be followed by another downstroke on an adjacent string. In this case, the high E string playing that D note again. So you have this down, down happening right there. Whenever I play that single note on the B, I try to really make the pick crash into the E string and just kind of sit on it and wait for its time to play that note. Down, down, pull, down, pull, again to that C note. And then what we're going to do here is to play the A note again on the B string, pulling off to G, downstroke here on the E note on the G string, okay? So that's a single downstroke. Let's connect it with another downstroke on an adjacent string like we did a second ago. And we're gonna play this phrase. So that's down on A, up on G, down on E, up on D. Down, up, down, pull, down, pull, down, pull, down, up, up. That's kind of what I would think of as being the nucleus of that lick. So be sure to practice that really hard for a little while to get the phrasing down. And really lean into those double downstrokes. Really accent the crap out of them to make this sound super nice and punchy. So the two things to take away from that are the use of the double downstrokes and the strategically placed legato to give this some cool groove. Now the second section of the lick sounds like this. It's all the same phrasing concepts and same rhythms and stuff, just moved to a different part of the scale. Here's how it sounds. So this starts off here on the root note of the scale, A. A lot of you guys that learned this position first might think of that as being the root. It's not really that the 5th fret low E string is the root, it's that the note A is the root. So any A we play anywhere on the entire neck is a perfectly valid root note. So try to start thinking of it like that. It's really going to help you get away from thinking of everything as being based on what's happening down here on the big string on the bottom. Now we're going to start off here by playing up the scale. We're going to play A to C, and then check out this move on the G string. Notice the sneaky little position shift right there. So it's A, C, D, E, and then using that 3rd finger, put it right back to where your 1st finger was a second ago to play D, pulling off to C. Down, up, down, pull. Notice too there wasn't a slide. You could do it that way, but I'm just trying to keep the groove the same. Okay, now at this point of the lick, we're going to play the root note A again with a downstroke. Connect that downstroke onto the next string. So you can do D pulling off to C, back to the A note, pulling off to G. Single downstroke here on the E note, connecting to another downstroke here on A, G, E, D. Okay, so that's down, up, down, pull, down, pull, down, pull, down, up. Now the reason I'm really placing a lot of emphasis on where those accents and stuff are is because this is really matching the pattern that the drums are doing in the practice tracks I made for you guys. You'll notice that the kind of kick and snare pattern on the drums is do do da da boo ba, like that. Kind of a typical kind of funky rhythm. And whenever you place those accents and those pull-offs and stuff in the right places, do do da 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 ba 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 ba, like that, it really syncs up and matches in with that drum groove. Shows that you're not just playing licks that you have memorized or whatever. It shows that you're listening to what all's going on around you, which is really what separates players that sound good from players that sound amazing. It's all about listening to what's going on and reacting to it. That could be a melodic thing, that could be a groove thing, but either way, just always listen and react. That leads us to the 3rd section of the lick, which sounds like this. Okay, again, same grooves, different location, and one particular interesting note that we're going to talk about here in a second. Start off on C on the A string, play C to D, and then on the D string, play this phrase. E, G, F sharp, pulling off to E. Down, down, pull, just like before. After this, play a single downstroke on the D note, connect that to a downstroke on the F sharp, pulling off to E again. Down, down, pull, down, pull. After this, you're going to play downstroke on D, pulling off to C, downstroke on A, connecting to a downstroke on D, upstroke on C, and then the last 3 notes of the lick are A, G, A, resolving there on the root note. Down, down, pull, down, pull, down, pull, down, up, down. And that's the entire lick. Yeah, let's talk about that F sharp note that's going on in the 3rd section of the lick right there. F sharp is not typically a part of the good old minor Pentecostal scale, is it? Now, here's the thing. Going back to that thing we talked about earlier about listening to what's going on around you and reacting to it, this is another one of those cases. You can't always use F sharp inside of that scale. Sometimes it'll sound great and it'll sound like, you know, Santana or somebody. Sometimes it'll sound really terrible, like you're just playing the wrong note. This is where you as the player or improviser or soloist, whatever, has really got to be observant of what all's going on around you. In the practice track that I made for you guys, there's this kind of like keyboard chord that sweeps through, right? It sounds like this. Kind of a mysterious, kind of James Bondy kind of minor sound, right? That's an A minor 7 chord that also contains that F sharp note. We think of that as a 6 or a 13 interval wise. Now look at it this way. Even if you don't typically get to use that F sharp note when you're playing the minor pentatonic scale, if the chord is using it, it's essentially giving us permission to use it too, you know? It doesn't belong there, but the chord is using that note, so therefore I can too. And it'll make it really sound like I'm listening to the chord, listening to the harmony, and reacting to it. A lot of people would look at that F sharp note as being borrowed from the Dorian scale, which is kind of like a form of the minor scale with a raised 6, if you want to look at it that way. If you want to learn more about the Dorian scale, I put up a lesson on my channel, I think it was about 1.5 years ago, and I want to say I titled it like Everything Dorian or something like that. I'll put a link to it down there in the video description. Really cool scale. You can use it for those Santana sounds and kind of some jazzy, funky things. You can also get those cool Nuno Betancourt style sounds of it as well, so it's definitely worth learning. If you want to try incorporating that F sharp, that 6, into there to get that more kind of Dorian flavor, probably the quickest way to do it is just to insert it into your standard minor pentatonic scale a couple different ways. Check this out. Now you can see inside of there I had the standard minor pentatonic framework. I didn't take any of those notes out. I just simply added in that F sharp note right here, just outside of the pattern on the D string, and right here on the 7 on the B string. So you end up with a configuration of notes that's kind of like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Just try tossing that note into your playing anytime you want to sound a little bit more Santana-y-er. So there you go, guys, a sick lick that hopefully showed you some new minor pentatonic tricks. And be sure to work on that one along with those practice tracks and downloadable tabs that I put up over on the Patreon page. Again, sign up today over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Even just $1 a month, you get downloads of all kinds of good stuff, as well as an awesome community of cool cats like yourself. Thanks for liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Be sure to ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. And don't forget to buy yourself some Shred Till You're Undead merchandise. That way you can start being a hunk, just like that guy. Okay, honestly, you're still a hunk even if you don't have the shirt, but it's not gonna hurt. Thanks again for watching. Now get away from the computer and go play some guitar. Less clicking, more picking.